Street ended higher in another volatile session on Friday, clawing back some of their hefty losses for the week as tech shares rallied. The S&P 500 closed at 3,298.46 on Friday, rising by 1.6% for the session. Despite Friday's rally, both S&P and the Dow suffered their fourth weekly loss in a row, their longest losing streak since August 2019. The Dow Jones Industrial Average jumped by 1.3% on Friday to close at 27,173. The Dow fell by 1.8% on the week. If this year hasn't been wild enough, welcome to October, analysts say. History shows that the month before a presidential election often brings turbulence to Wall Street, and this year looks no different. In fact, when you mix in the pandemic, this October might be one of the most unpredictable ones in history. The coronavirus overshadows everything right now, and unlike the election, there is no end date for it. It's likely that some of the recent rally reflected investors buying in chances for a stimulus, but now that seems to be off the table. It's quite a surprising development actually, with the election coming up and unemployment remaining above 8%. Without fiscal support, it's very possible that economic data could start to deteriorate as October moves along. The NASDAQ, meanwhile, had its first weekly gain in 4 weeks. The NASDAQ Composite was the best performer last week, rising by 2.26% on Friday to end the week at 10,913.56 and marking a 1.11% weekly gain. Also looming large is the start of earnings season in mid-October. The previous earnings season saw companies generally do better than analysts had expected, with more than 80% of S&P 500 companies beating relatively low expectations. Still, a nearly 32% decline in S&P 500 earnings, according to analysts, was far from optimal. The third quarter doesn't look much better, with experts projecting an average earnings drop of 21.8%, and that would mark the sixth quarter in the last 7 of falling earnings per share for major U.S. companies. Meanwhile, the airline sector, which was badly stricken by pandemic and plunging demand, rallied during the final session last week. American Airlines announced that it has secured a $5.5 billion government loan and might access more. The news sent the commercial carrier stock by 4.5% up. Still, this didn't help the stock to erase earlier weekly losses, so it posted a 6.82% fall for the week. American Airlines is also on deck for a key quarterly report in October, so investors should consider focusing on it too. Meanwhile, shares of major tech names rose broadly last week. Amazon was among the gainers. Its stock rose by 2.5% on Friday to close at 3,095.13. For the week, the e-commerce giant logged a 4.7% gain. Amazon has been thriving amid the pandemic due to the ability of its offerings to facilitate the new normal way of living. As people have been forced to stay home due to the pandemic, more people are shopping online than ever before. The company is a prime beneficiary of this trend, having generated significant returns over this period. You've watched Weekly Financial Review on InstaTV with me, Anna Kasatkina. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to always keep track of all the latest financial events together with us. And we'll see you back soon. Bye!